Your life is a reflection of your thoughts. If you change your thinking, you change your life. 85% of people struggle with low self-esteem linked to negative self-talk at some point in their lives. Now, that's a number big enough to stop us in our tracks and ask what's going on in our minds today. We're diving deep into a topic that is as challenging as it is transformative: killing your negative thinking. This isn't just about silencing that inner critic. It's about empowering ourselves to live more fulfilling lives in the world of Stoicism. We find a profound understanding that our thoughts are not mere whispers in the mind. They are the loud voices that dictate our happiness and our suffering. Stoic wisdom teaches us that while the world might not bend to our will, our perception of it is entirely up to us. The Stoics weren't just ancient philosophers. They were the ultimate mental warriors, battling against the tyranny of uncontrolled thoughts and emotions with rationality and inner calm. Today I'm here to guide you through understanding how these negative thoughts impact us and to explore practical Stoic strategies to combat them. We'll learn how to harness the power of our minds to construct a life not bounded by the chains of negativity, but propelled by the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. If you're skeptical, I encourage you to stay with me. This might challenge some of your deepest held beliefs, but it will also open the door to a new horizon of personal growth. Before we jump in, I invite you to share this video with others who are on their own journey of personal growth and philosophical exploration. And if you appreciate the insights we're exploring here and want to support our journey into Stoicism, a simple free favor I'll ask from you is to hit the subscribe button. Let's get started. Understanding the problem. Negative thinking isn't just an occasional nuisance or a fleeting bad mood. It's a pervasive issue that can dramatically impact every facet of our lives, from how we feel when we wake up in the morning to the choices we make about our health, careers, and relationships. These thoughts can be debilitating, but what really is negative thinking at its core? It's a pattern of anticipating the worst, undermining our own efforts, and often assuming we are less capable or deserving than we truly are. Now, why do we fall into this trap? The Stoic philosophers believed that it's not the events themselves, elves, that disturb us, but rather our interpretations of these events. Epictetus famously said, "Men are disturbed not by things but by the view which they take of them." This perspective is at the heart of understanding our problem with negative thinking. It's not necessarily the reality that constrains us, it's the lens through which we view our world. Carl Jung's exploration of the psyche provides further insight. He recognized that much of our negative thinking stems from the less conscious parts of our mind, the personal and collective unconscious. Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." By bringing these unconscious beliefs and biases into the light of conscious examination, we can begin to mitigate their control over us. Consider for a moment the impact this has on our everyday life. When faced with a challenge, negative thinking can make us feel as though we've already lost before we've begun, preventing us from taking the very actions that could lead to success. It's like being in a boat and rowing with all your might but not realizing you're anchored to the shore. No matter how hard you try, you're not going anywhere. Stoicism teaches us to examine our thoughts critically and logically, to question the validity of these negative assumptions. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, prompts us to reflect on our thoughts with scrutiny and to dismiss those that are irrational or unhelpful. This kind of introspection allows us to detach from harmful thinking patterns and regain control of our mental landscape. Let's not underestimate the influence of our societal and cultural backdrop in a world saturated with messages of not being enough. Whether it's not successful enough, rich enough, or smart enough, it's easy to see why negative thoughts can creep in. These messages often find fertile ground in the mind, sprouting weeds of doubt and insecurity that can choke our potential. But Stoicism arms us with the tools to clear out these weeds and cultivate a garden of more supportive, empowering thoughts. This issue of negative thinking is what we're tackling today. It's not just about dismissing or avoiding negative thoughts, but understanding them deeply, questioning them thoroughly, and then replacing them with reasoned constructive thinking. This Stoic approach isn't just about coping, it's about thriving. By mastering our thoughts, we master our perceptions and ultimately our lives. So as we continue, let's keep in mind that each thought we choose to
entertain
and each one we decide to challenge is a step towards the kind of life we truly want to live. Origins of negative thinking. Understanding the origins of negative thinking is essential. If we are to address it effectively, this isn't just about identifying bad habits. It's about uncovering the deep-seated roots that shape our perceptions and influence our mental landscape. Negative thoughts often sprout from a variety of sources: our upbringing, societal pressures, past failures, and sometimes the seemingly inconsequential comments from those around us. Each of these can plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation, which can mature into a persistent state of negativity. From a very young age, many of us are introduced to environments that might not foster positive self-esteem. Consider a child who is repeatedly told they are not smart enough, or an educational system that seems to reward only perfection. These experiences can significantly color our world view. Aristotle once remarked that we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. If we apply this thinking to the mind, we see that repeated negative thoughts can become a habit of seeing ourselves and our capabilities in a diminished light. Our own experiences of failure and rejection can serve to reinforce these negative scripts. Every time we face a setback or encounter criticism, it can affirm a
gut of internal dialogue that whispers, "I knew I couldn't do it."
This can turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy, not because we lack capability, but because we begin to act in ways that align with our negative beliefs. Plato's idea that reality is created by the mind, we can change our reality by changing our mind, is profoundly relevant here. By examining and challenging our interpretations of these events, we can start to dismantle the foundation of our negative thoughts. Fear also plays a critical role in fostering negative thinking. It's a natural protective mechanism that often spiral into excessive worry or anxiety, overshadowing our rational judgment. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, and fear of rejection can all lead to catastrophic thinking, where the mind jumps to the worst possible outcomes. Stoicism offers a tool against this, the premeditation of evils, which involves visualizing the worst-case scenario in detail to lessen its emotional impact, when or if it actually occurs. Carl Jung suggested that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Many of our negative thoughts are rooted in unconscious beliefs formed in our early years, influenced by our guardians, teachers, and the media. These unconscious beliefs often go unchallenged because they are not fully known to our conscious mind, making these beliefs I can rob them of their power and allow us to regain control of our thoughts. Moreover, societal and cultural pressures cannot be overlooked. We live in a society that often emphasizes scarcity and competition, setting exceptionally high standards that can seem unattainable. This environment can lead to constant comparisons and feelings of never being good enough. Stoicism teaches us to redirect our focus from external validation to internal virtues, encouraging us to measure success by our personal growth rather than by comparison to others. The roots of negative thinking are varied and complex, involving personal history, emotional experiences, ingrained fears, and societal messages. However, by leveraging the wisdom of both Western philosophy and psychology, particularly the Stoic focus on controlling our perceptions and reactions, we can begin to understand and unravel these negative thought patterns. This deep understanding not only helps mitigate their effects, but empowers us to reconstruct our mental framework in a more positive and resilient way. Renew your mind. When we talk about renewing our minds, we're not just suggesting a fleeting attempt to think more positively, we're advocating for a profound and enduring transformation of our internal dialogue. This is about cultivating a mindset that enables us not just to survive but to thrive. The Stoic philosophers offer timeless guidance on how this can be achieved through the disciplined practice of reflecting on our thoughts and deliberately shaping them to foster resilience and peace. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the idea that our emotions and reactions are the results of our judgments, which are within our power to change. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor and philosopher, once noted, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This powerful assertion reminds us that renewal begins by seizing control of our thoughts, scrutinizing them for accuracy, and then aligning them with our true intentions and values. Aristotle also provides a valuable perspective here. He said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." This introspective journey involves diving deep into our thought patterns and identifying those that serve us well versus those that sabotage our efforts. By becoming more aware of our thoughts, we can begin to challenge the negative ones that have perhaps become ingrained over time. This process of challenging and changing our thoughts isn't about denying our emotions, but about understanding them better and thus managing them more effectively. Moreover, Carl Jung's insights into the human psyche complement this Stoic wisdom beautifully. Jung argued that what you resist not only persists but will grow in size instead of resisting negative thoughts. Stoicism teaches us to acknowledge them, analyze their origin, and assess their truthfulness. This method prevents these thoughts from festering in the shadows of our unconscious, where they can grow unchecked. Additionally, renewing the mind requires us to engage with materials and activities that nurture positivity and growth. This might include reading philosophical texts that challenge our understanding, engaging with art that inspires us, or simply spending time in reflection and meditation. These activities provide new narratives and perspective that can replace our old unhelpful stories. Socrates' insistence on the importance of living and examined life plays a crucial role here. By continually examining our beliefs and the thoughts that stem from them, we engage in a process of mental renewal that keeps our minds agile and our spirits aligned with our keeps our internal world refreshed and attuned to the reality of our experiences. Plato also emphasized the importance of aligning with the forms, the ideal versions of justice, beauty, and goodness. In a similar vein, renewing our minds can be seen as an effort to align our thoughts with the most virtuous and EMP-powered versions of ourselves. By aspiring to these ideals, we craft a self-concept that is robust, compassionate, and deeply wise. To put all of this into practice, we can start each day with a simple affirmation or a Stoic reflection that sets the tone for the type of thoughts we wish to nurture. Whether it's a quote from Epicus about the power of our responses, or a Jungian mantra that reminds us of the strength found in facing our shadows, these daily practices are the building blocks for a renewed mind. Surround yourself with positivity. This principle involves consciously choosing our environment, people, places, and media that supports and enhances our mental and emotional well-being. As Seneca famously advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. This guidance encourages us to be selective about our company and to cultivate relationships that inspire and challenge us to grow. Aristotle also touched on the importance of the company we keep when he discussed friendship. He categorized friendships into three types: those of utility, pleasure, and the good, the highest and most valuable form of friendship. The friendship of the good is based on mutual respect and admiration of each other's virtues. These are the relationships that encourage us to become better versions of ourselves. They are inherently positive because they are rooted in a mutual striving for virtue and excellence. Moreover, Plato's allegory of the cave teaches us about the impact of our environment on our perception of reality. Those who lived in the cave believed shadows cast on the walls were reality, because that was all they had been exposed to. When one of them escapes and sees the world outside, he realizes the limitations of his understanding and becomes capable of achieving a higher state of knowledge. This metaphor beautifully illustrates how expanding our surroundings to include positive and enlightening influences can profoundly change our perspective and understanding. Carl Jung's ideas about the collective, unconscious, and the archetypes also provide insight into the importance of surrounding ourselves with positivity. According to Jung, our psyche is influenced by shared memories and ideas that form the collective unconscious. These shared cultural elements shape how we perceive the world and ourselves. By choosing environments that are supportive and positive, we can influence the archetypes that dominate our personal narratives, shifting from those that emphasize fear and inadequacy to those that embody strength and self-actualization. In practical terms, surrounding ourselves with positivity means more than just being around cheerful people. It involves engaging with content and activities that reinforce our philosophical and life goals. It means participating in community, both online and offline, where discussions are rooted in encouragement and constructive feedback, rather than criticism and negativity. It requires us to be vigilant about the media we consume, opting for books, films, and programs that inspire and educate, rather than those that perpetuate fear or despair. It also means creating an environment at home and work that reflects the values and virtues we admire. This can be as simple as keeping a clean and organized living space, which according to Stoic practice mirrors a clean and organized mind, or it could involve decorating our spaces with art and symbols that remind us of our philosophical commitments, like courage, justice, moderation, and wisdom. Seneca's words echo through time when he writes, "Hang on to your youthful enthusiasms. You'll be able to use them better when you're older." By surrounding ourselves with positivity, we are essentially hanging on to or cultivating enthusiasms that align with our better natures. This not only enhances our own lives, but also sets a standard and a beacon for others who are part of our circles, thereby creating a ripple effect of positivity. Take Stoic action in our journey to overcome negative thinking. The Stoics remind us that understanding and intention alone are not enough. Action is essential, as Epicus so succinctly put it. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This straightforward directive underscores a profound Stoic truth. Our ideals must be manifested through our deeds, not just our thoughts. Taking action, in the Stoic sense, means engaging in behaviors and practices that reinforce our philosophical ideals. It involves making deliberate choices every day that align with our values of wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. By embodying these virtues in our actions, we challenge the negative thoughts that claim we are incapable or unworthy, thereby rewriting our narrative to one of empowerment and self-efficacy. Aurelius also emphasizes the significance of action in his doctrine of the mean, where virtue is not just a state of mind, but a state of character, resulting from the habitual practice of choosing the mean between excess and deficiency. This practice is inherently active. For Aristotle, we become just by performing just actions, brave by performing acts of bravery, and temperate by performing acts of temperance. Thus, action is not merely a demonstration of virtue, it is the very means by which virtue is cultivated. Plato also lends insight into the transformative power of action through his theory of forms, which posits that to know the good is to do the good in other words, true knowledge once attained necessarily results in right action. Therefore, by aligning our actions with our Stoic understanding of virtue, we bring ourselves closer to the Platonic ideal of good, elevating not just our minds but also our entire beings. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the psychological process of integrating the conscious with the unconscious to achieve self-actualization, further highlights the necessity of action for Jung. This integration does not occur in contemplation alone, but through encounters with the world that challenge our existing frameworks and compel us to grow. He argues that you are what you do, not what you say you'll do, stressing that our true character and psychological maturity are expressed through our actions. Therefore, Stoic action involves more than just combating negative thoughts. It's about proactively living out the virtues that define Stoicism. It's about making choices, small and large, that reflect a commitment to self-improvement and philosophical integrity. Whether it's choosing to speak kindly in a difficult situation, opting to face long-standing fear, or deciding to forgive someone who has wronged us, each action is a step towards becoming the person we aspire to be. Moreover, taking Stoic action means embracing the challenges that life throws our way as opportunities for growth, instead of shying away from difficult circumstances. Stoics see these as arenas in which to practice virtue. Each challenge is a call to action, chance to demonstrate resilience, practice patience, or reaffirm commitment to our principles. In practical terms, taking Stoic action can be as simple as setting daily goals that reflect our values, engaging in community service that fosters justice and kindness, or maintaining disciplines like journaling or meditation that encourage reflection and self-control. Each of these actions not only counters negative thinking, but also builds a stronger, more virtuous self. The power of words. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that it's not only our actions that reflect our virtues, but also our speech. The power of words in shaping our reality cannot be overstated. Epictetus advised, first learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak. This idea points to the inherent power of words to influence, not just express our thoughts and emotions. The Stoics understood that words could build up or tear down the inner citadel of our minds. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal writings, often reflected on how to communicate effectively and truthfully, emphasizing that our words should be seasoned with the virtues we cultivate, such as honesty, restraint, and kindness. By aligning our speech with these virtues, we reinforce our Stoic practice and extend its influence outward, impacting those around us positively. Aristotle also contributes to this conversation with his concept of ethos, posos, and logos, highlighting the persuasive power of speech. He argued that credibility, ethos, emotional connection, pathos, and logical argument, logos, are crucial components of effective communication. For Aristotle, the way we speak and the words we choose not only convey information but also persuade and mold the world around us. When we speak, we're not just transmitting data, we're influencing opinions, emotions, and behaviors. Plato's dialogues also show a deep appreciation for the precision and impact of words. His Socratic dialogues, for instance, illustrate how Socrates used questions and dialogue to challenge assumptions and reveal deeper truths. Plato shows us that through careful and considered dialogue, we can guide others toward greater understanding and self-awareness. From a psychological perspective, Carl Jung's theories about the psyche resonate with the Stoic emphasis on mindful speech. Jung wrote extensively about the power of the unconscious and how language can both reflect and shape the unconscious impulses that drive our behavior. He believed that by bringing these impulses into conscious awareness through dialogue and reflection, we can better integrate our psychological components, leading to greater wholeness and health. Moreover, the power of words extends beyond interpersonal interactions in our internal dialogues. The words we use to talk to ourselves can significantly influence our self-perception and emotional state. Negative self-talk, a common human experience, can be particularly destructive, leading to decreased motivation and increased feelings of helplessness. Conversely, positive self-talk, grounded in Stoic virtues, can empower and uplift. Engaging in positive affirmations, a practice often recommended in modern cognitive behavioral therapies, aligns well with Stoic exercises. These affirmations are not about deluding oneself with unrealistic statements, but about reinforcing the strength and resilience that come from a Stoic understanding of control and virtue. By affirming our ability to manage our responses and our commitment to living according to our values, we strengthen our Stoic resolve. Therefore, the power of words in Stoicism is not merely theoretical, but deeply practical. It encompasses our dialogues with others, our internal monologues, and even the way we engage with the broader culture. Each word we choose carries weight, building or breaking down, enlightening or obscuring, healing or hurting. As we continue to cultivate Stoic virtues, let us be ever mindful of the transformative power of our words to shape ourselves, influence others, and create a world more aligned with reason, virtue, and wisdom. Thank you for joining us today on this profound journey through the depths of Stoic philosophy. Remember, the words we choose and the actions we take forge the path to a life lived with virtue and purpose. As you continue to navigate the complexities of life, let the wisdom of Stoicism guide your way, turning every challenge into an opportunity for growth. If you found today's discussion enlightening, I invite you to watch our next video, which explores the Stoic approach to overcoming adversity. It's right here on the screen, so just click and continue your journey with us. Thank you for being a part of our Stoicism. Together we're building not just knowledge but a community of wisdom and strength.